You want to lose weight, but work is mental. You're exhausted, and terrible food choices feel like the only option. You basically feel like getting healthier is impossible with a busy work schedule. Does this sound familiar? But here is the lowdown, buddy. Weight loss doesn't require hours in the gym or giving up your favourite foods. You just need a smarter approach that fits into your busy work schedule. And you're smart, my friend, because you're watching me. Your work plays a bigger role in your life than you think, or care to admit. You can depressingly, begrudgingly accept that or not, because we do work most of our lives. So in this video, I'll talk about if it's actually possible to look after yourself even when you're at work. I'm also going to explain why you should care about your health at work and why it's the place where you can make or break your diet. And then I'm going to wrap up the video by giving you some tips on how to keep on top of your health at work so you can look after yourself and work and ultimately progress. What weight loss actually requires is the one thing that I keep returning back to every fucking video I do, which I'll mention at the end of this video again as well, because it's fine. You don't need to be taught what it is. You just need to be reminded. So let's get in there. Now you've maybe already got a wee excuse lined up for me already, and you're saying this out loud whilst watching this on your laptop or your phone. Stop right there, James. I've not got any time at work. I'm just far too busy. And that is absolute bullshit, isn't it? Because nobody is that busy at work. You're just kidding yourself. And if it genuinely is, go find another job. Because you know what this really actually is? It's a justifiable excuse to you that you have made in your head before you've even started to give this a right good go. And if you are already thinking this, it proves to me that you haven't actually purposefully given your health goals the attention it deserves. Because if you did, you'd have achieved them already. And that is because if they were that big of an issue to you, you would do anything to achieve them. Working and staying healthy isn't a big issue to overcome, friend. You just need a bit of guidance, which I'm going to advise in a minute. Anyway, saying you don't have time because you're too busy at your laptop typing away to even worry about your health, you're basically putting up hurdles in your way before you've even started. And having your work as a legit excuse really just means you can sit on your comfy couch with some ice cream and a share bag of crisps and say, these are fine to eat. I cannot lose weight anyway because of my work. When you can, because it's just simple maths and science on paper. But most of you out there are just not giving your health the attention it deserves. Thankfully for you, I've got a bunch of tips coming your way to help you make this as simple as possible. But to get started right away actually, there's a bunch of emails I can send you over the next month that could give you a head start on helping you sort out your health for the better. I've made them so easy for you. All I'll be asking you to do is the bare minimum you can for the best result. Think of it like a lazy man's guide to losing weight. And you know what's fucking mental as well? There for free. Anyway, so your life apparently being consumed by work. You might be asking now, so is it actually possible to lose weight with a busy job? But before we get into that, let me explain to you why I think it's absolutely imperative that you at least address it. Even if you couldn't lose weight, for whatever bizarre reason that pops into your head, well in my head, it makes sense to eat well and stay active in and around your work, because work is shit, for most of you anyway. Not for me though, I've loved all my jobs that I've worked at. But I think that's truly because I've kept myself busy outside of it. Basically work didn't consume my life, but it does allow me to do other enjoyable things with my family. So if you think your work is shit, why would you want to turn up to it lethargic, bloated, low energy, distracted, borderline depressed? Because all you're really going to do is make it worse and more miserable in my opinion. So from that point of view, it makes sense to be looking after yourself outside of work, so it then benefits you at your work. And who knows, with decent energy, some positivity, actually having some banter and being fun to be around with a smile on your face, you might actually get that wage rise you've always wanted because you'll start looking like you actually care about your job. Anyway, enough career advice. The original question, is it possible to lose weight with a busy job? Absolutely. It could arguably be the most pivotal part of your pursuit of better health. People have been doing it for years, and would you believe they'll continue to do it because they give it the attention that it needs? What I would say is I think work, along with family life, are two easy excuses for people to fall back on. But maybe if you had something extremely important to help you out, your chances of succeeding would improve by a very large percentage, which we will address at the end of the video. Because I first want to explain why you should care about your health at work. If you think of your day like this, okay, so you've got 24 hours in your day. You've got 8 hours sleep, hopefully. Wishful thinking. Sleep is obviously a non-negotiable, even though the hours vary. You then work 8 hours typically, on average. If you travel to work, your commute is then added into that. For argument's sake, let's say it's an hour if you're lucky. So there's 9 hours there. That means you're then left with 7 hours of downtime to fanny about in your house, spending time with your family, cooking meals, spending time with your kids. What most of you don't realise as well is a sleep, work, downtime split. That's like 50 years of your life for most of you. And as depressing as it sounds, you should now realise how much you actually work in your life. So now you're starting to realise how important keeping on top of your health is at your work, since it is 1/3 of your life for almost half a decade. So next time you want to blow off your health because work's too busy, what you're actually saying here is you're happy to ignore your health for almost half a decade because you're doing something that provides food for your family. It is a bit backwards. It blows my mind that people are happy to be miserable, moody little fuckers at work. Because your bosses, etc. see that on calls, meetings, in front of clients, and if redundancies ever come round the corner, you're definitely got to be in the crosshairs. Because I do think that food and exercise can have that big of an influence on your career. Work isn't everything, of course, but it does put food on the table for your kids. And carry on in the way you are, neglecting your health, something will pack in first, and it will likely be your health. And again, if you're happy to make excuses and say things like, work is hectic, I've not got any energy to address my health, you'll never actually get round to changing your life for your kids or your partner, will you? Let's just say work is genuinely hectic. Fat loss might not be a good idea, but eating well and building good habits is better than waiting on a good time to diet. because that will change your mood and give you some energy. It is also worth pointing out as well, even if you work a bizarre shift pattern outside the 9 to 5 workday, it still can definitely be done. And if you work from home, you're basically living the dream. So I'm not talking to you fuckers. You just have to roll over at 8:55 and turn your laptop for 9 and sugar your mouse every few minutes to look available on Teams whilst you're cooking your class meals in your kitchen, or set your status to busy so you look like you're there for 8 hours. I cannot rip into you too much because I've been doing that for the last 6 years. Anyway, you're now maybe beginning to understand how big a deal your work life is in your life, or how much of an impact it can have. So here are some tips to fit your healthy lifestyle you want to pursue into your work life. Number one's a really easy one. Take meals with you. Simply ditch buying food when you're out. There's obviously nothing wrong with buying food when you're out. You can get some nutritious meals in restaurants, and also some of them have calories on the menus. But who's to then say that is correct? Some restaurants and takeaways may only use healthy ingredients, but things like freshly made mayonnaise, avocado, streaky bacon, dressings, peanut butter, butters, oils, hummus, creams are all heavy on the calories and will still contribute to you not losing weight. You also won't feel obliged to add more to your lunch because it's cheaper, like meal deals, etc. You're simply more in control of what you put in your mouth if you make it yourself. And that's been proven in studies that people who prep food are generally healthier. Prepping food is old news, but people who meal prep have a much better chance of improving their health because they're in control. And then making your food is simply cheaper, better tasting, more healthy and nutritious, more satisfying, calorie friendly, meaning potentially more food elsewhere also, which is a win-win. Your office likely has a kitchen to cater for storing and heating up food, and also whatever diet you choose to follow. There's plenty of options online for you now to prep food and travel with it, thanks to recipes online and YouTube chefs. I will not thank carnivore preppers though. I cannot for the life of me agree that cooking mince and boiled eggs and then throwing them in a Tupperware is an exciting lunch. I would rather remove my nipple hairs with a pair of tweezers than get on board with that. What I would also say is maybe try and listen how your body reacts to food. It sounds a bit poncy and a bit hippie, but if you're always hitting a midday slump, it's maybe because you're eating too much food at lunch. So maybe lower your carbs, for example, or lower your overall portion of food. Another one is using your hour break better. This might be a slightly controversial one because we do live in an age where having a rest is not getting after it. So having a rest is frowned upon. You don't care about your work enough if you're not in front of your laptop for 8 hours a day. But if I were you, I would get my arse out of the seat the minute your lunch starts. It is a law for you to get an hour's break, I'm sure. That could be a gym session in that hour, or maybe 6,000 steps. You could become the walking club at your office. And when you're back, just have your lunch at your laptop. The other thing I would do, if you can't do any of the above, is at certain points of the day, maybe go for a 5-minute wander and stretch your legs to get away from your laptop. And you might say, my boss won't allow it. Well, I would speak to them and say something along the lines of, I'm trying to get a bit healthy here, which is only going to benefit the company. My standards aren't going to slip. I'll make up the time somewhere else. Is this okay? And also what you can do is point out the whoppers who step outside every 45 minutes for a cigarette or a vape, which is detrimental to their health, whilst you're trying to change yours for the better. And if they say no, just take their ass to HR. I'm joking, maybe. A big one as well I want to mention is stress. Now everyone experiences it differently, but there's a chance that you're going to come across it at some point over your career, which other areas of your life might contribute to. So you might not be able to get rid of it, but you can manage it, especially when you realise that a lot of it is made up in your head. So recognising it and then saying, I need a couple of minutes to myself. Take yourself away from your laptop, get some fresh air, have some food earlier than you planned, speak to a colleague rather than wanting to throw your laptop at the wall and maybe giving you a bit of a hard time here in all honesty. Because I would say for the most part, a lot of you can get into a very good routine at your work with your eating and going to the gym every day. It's the weekend that actually causes issues. I would say is that you need just as much structure on your weekend as you do on your weekday, and vice versa obviously. Without some sort of organisation or plan for either or both of them, you're really fighting a difficult battle here. Because when you're doing really well with your weekdays, you're really fucking up at the weekends, and vice versa. Which just so happens to be where I wrap up this video with something that all of you are really missing, because the biggest thing all of you need out there is a plan. One you're emotionally invested in. A plan that you don't really give a fuck about is a bit like playing football for a manager you don't really like or get on with. It is likely going to end in disaster, without much long-term benefit or long-term success. Something has to change. It's not really hard to find something that should get you to want to change for the better, like your kids, your wife, family, your dog, you name it. You've just not found that gun to the head reason, and it should be that simple. And don't worry if the plan is shit, because we can work on that later. You learn more in the failing than you do in the succeeding. So just get failing, friend. See if you're so worried about the plan being shit, sign up to my emails and I'll help you out over the next 31 days with one. All for free. Speaking of kids again, despite me thinking they should be the major reason you should look after yourself, they can hinder progress unfortunately, because they can be wee fannies sometimes. But just like at your work, just because you have kids doesn't mean progress is impossible. And I've made a video that you can click on right here that explains that, and how to still progress even though you've got kids. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video.